Having a reputation as the go-to agent in any given market is not as hard as you think. As a matter of fact, it creates a dependable and lucrative income, and we're going to show you how to accomplish that, and it doesn't have to take very long. So how do you become the go-to expert in your market? Someone that sellers recognize as a specialist, so much so that they will call you because they need your expertise. It doesn't take as long as a lot of people think. As a matter of fact, we have agents up and running as experts within a few months. It's not like, well, being a cardiologist. I doubt your family doctor all of a sudden said, you know what, I'm kind of tired of this. I think I'm going to start operating on some hearts now. No, they had to put in some efforts. They had to put in a little extra training, extra education. Probably took a little longer for them because the human heart is slightly more complex than your real estate niche or mine. But there are some steps, 1, 2, 3, that will help you become an expert in short order. Let me jump into those right now. The first one is what I call product knowledge. You probably recognize what that is immediately. That is the housing, the real estate, the product, property type, whatever the case is. If your niche consists of a certain type of house, then you need to become very familiar with the available product. How do you do that? You preview homes. Now, that's not taught as much as it used to be. When I started in real estate, I'm not going to give you a date, but it has been a while. When I started, we previewed property because we didn't have the internet to look at pictures and videos. We actually had to go see the house to understand what the house offered, and I've been doing that ever since. The reason I still do it is because pictures and videos simply can't do a house justice. Did you know that photographers, just by chance, sometimes might miss the backside of the patio that's kind of deteriorating? They may not catch some of those aspects of a house that you can see walking around. I've walked into so many houses that did not look like the pictures, that there were angles and issues and things that you just couldn't tell in pictures and even really good videos. So looking at homes and understanding the product is a big part of becoming an expert. As a matter of fact, I don't see how you can claim to be an expert unless you truly know the product. So how do you know the product? How do you preview? Well, when I started one of my niches, 321 houses were on the market in that property type. So I broke that down. How do you eat an elephant? Remember that old joke? How do you eat an elephant? That's really kind of how I run my business. That seems like an overwhelming number of houses to go preview. But I decided I'll preview an average of 5 a day. Might be 3 one day, might be 7 one day. But if I averaged 5 a day, 321 divided by 7, hang on. Okay, that's about 64 days. So it would take me 64 days, 20 days a month. 64 divided by 20 is just over 3. A little over 3 months, and I'm going to know the product in that market better than any other agent. Because I promise you, no other agent has seen every house. And yes, as homes came on the market, I would see those as well. So within about a 3-month period, I knew the product, the housing, what was on the market, what it sold. And what's cool about it is when you're sitting in front of a seller and they say that house sold for this price over there, you know exactly how it compares to theirs. You don't have to go by rumor or myth or pictures or videos. You've been in it, you understand it, and that creates a great deal of credibility. When they say, well, have you seen this one? You can say, yes, I have. And you can explain what that house had to offer on a comparative basis, a real comparative basis to their house. When buyers say, you know what, that house seems like it might be something that fit us. Have you seen it? Well, yes, I have. That creates a very different level of credibility. Very different. Believe me, I've been on both sides where I have to answer, well, no, I'm not sure. Let's go take a look. Or, yes, I have. And here's what this house offers. Here's how it would benefit you. Here's maybe some drawbacks based on your checklist. It just creates a very different relationship when you have that kind of expertise. As a matter of fact, if you become known by your clients as, hey, Stuart's seen every house. Stuart knows all these houses. As a matter of fact, as the years go by, a house comes on the market. Well, I saw it last time it was on the market. You can become an expert in product knowledge, and that is absolutely huge. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is what I call market knowledge. Statistics. Statistics aren't real exciting. They're kind of boring. They're not sexy, but they really do tell a story. And you understanding the stats in your niche can give you credibility you can't get any other way. As a matter of fact, I put out marketing that says this is information you won't get anywhere else, because it's true. Some of the stats I actually create. I don't mean make up, I mean create. In other words, there's a ratio I call the success ratio. Well, it's not something put out in the MLS. I want to try to provide information to the people in my niche that they can't get anywhere else. You can go to the MLS and find out days on the market and average price and things like that. Now, you can't get those details specifically for my niche, but if I can come up with what I call unique knowledge, again, it increases your credibility dramatically. Now, the niche I work takes a little longer to sell on the average than the overall market. So when I explain that to sellers, they understand, hey, they shouldn't have the same expectations as what they're seeing in the media and online and things like that. So understanding your market, understanding your niche goes a long way toward giving you the credibility as an expert, a recognized expert. Here's another one. Myths in real estate that don't apply. Give an example. The turnover ratio. That's how often do people move. Well, you know, most real estate agents will say every 5 to 7 years. Now, once in a while nowadays I hear longer because some agents are paying attention. But ever since I started, and I'm going to give you the decade, not the exact year, but I started in the 80s, and I heard sellers move every 5 to 7 years. And not 2 weeks ago, I heard some agents discussing that sellers move every 5 to 7 years. That's just not the case anymore. Maybe it was back then, but I've been doing stats for probably 12 to 15 years now, and I've never found a neighborhood that turned over that fast. Never. So I share that with sellers. The turnover is not what a lot of people think it is. Also share that the time to sell is not what a lot of people think it is. What does that mean? Well, the real estate paradigm, the old myth is spring's the best time to sell. You probably can't call it a myth because, you know, for the most part it's true, but I discovered that in my niche there was a month that's not in the spring with the highest success rate when sellers put their home in the market. As a matter of fact, in November, they had a better chance of closing than if they sold in April or May. So when I shared that with them, they were absolutely taken aback. Nobody had ever told them that. Well, that's because no one had ever delved into the niche and the information behind the niche. So if you can provide unique knowledge, your credibility continues to climb. I hope that makes sense. So we've talked about product knowledge and market knowledge. And the third is what I call niche knowledge. What is niche knowledge? Well, it's specifically about the property type. So the property type I work, there are variables and nuances and locations and things like that that other agents just aren't going to be familiar with. There are actually contractual issues regarding costs and inspections and things like that that most agents aren't familiar with. Quite often I actually even have to help the agent on the other side and kind of guide them through the transaction. So if you have inside information and you understand variables within your niche that other agents don't, then again, your credibility as an expert is going to be intact. You can brand and market yourself as an expert because you have that kind of knowledge. Product knowledge, see the houses and consistently see them. Market knowledge, look at stats and consistently look at stats so you know what's going on in your niche. And niche knowledge, get unique knowledge about your niche. Here's a real good one. What's the buyer's motivation for buying a property in your niche? Well, I know what it is in my niche. I know exactly what the number one motivation for buying a property in my niche is. And I share that with sellers. And we share with them that we target and look for buyers who have that motivation. Hope this is making sense. Expertise will get sellers calling you. And that's a great way to run your business. 1, 2, 3. 3 areas of expertise. You can get them in short order. You can be recognized as an expert and become the go-to agent. You really can. Now, I have referred to unique knowledge several times, and I've got a video specifically about unique knowledge. You can see it right here. It goes into detail. You can use that strategy immediately, whether you're working in niche or not. It is very effective. Hope you watch that video. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you there. And remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.